Melissa Gilbert was once the face of innocence, warmth, and resilience for millions of Americans who welcomed her into their homes every week. To the public, she was comfort itself, a symbol of goodness growing up on screen. But behind the familiar smile lived a life shaped by quiet struggles, unanswered questions, and a long search for belonging. This is not simply the story of a child star or a famous actress. It is the story of a woman who learned how to survive before she learned how to dream, who lost herself more than once, and who rebuilt her life piece by piece when the world expected her to already be whole. A life that began with silence. Melissa Ellen Gilbert was born on May 8, 1964, in Los Angeles, California, and almost immediately her life took a turn she could not yet understand. Within a day of her birth, she was placed for adoption, beginning her journey with a quiet absence that would echo through much of her life. She was adopted by actor and comedian Paul Gilbert and his wife, dancer and actress Barbara Crane, and on the surface, her life appeared filled with opportunity. Yet even as a very young child, Melissa sensed an emotional distance she could not name, a feeling that love, while present, was never quite secure or steady. Growing up around applause, not assurance. Melissa's early home was filled with show business routines, rehearsals, and ambition, but lacked the emotional grounding that helps a child feel anchored. Her parents' marriage was strained, and as tension replaced warmth, she learned early how to stay quiet to avoid conflict. When her adoptive parents divorced, Melissa's sense of stability fractured further. She moved frequently with her mother, never fully settling, while her father slowly drifted out of her daily life, leaving behind confusion and unanswered questions that no child knows how to carry. A loss that changed everything. As a young girl, Melissa was told her father had passed away due to sudden health issues, a version of the truth meant to protect her. She mourned him deeply, holding on to memories of the parent who once made her feel safe. Years later, learning the fuller reality behind his death reshaped her understanding of loss, trust, and love. It wasn't just grief she felt, but a renewed sense of abandonment, one that deepened her emotional wounds and quietly shaped how she approached relationships for years to come. Fame found her before she found herself. Acting entered Melissa's life not as a dream, but as a distraction and survival tool. Her mother encouraged auditions, and Melissa quickly learned how to smile through rejection, developing resilience long before she should have needed it. Casting rooms were crowded, feedback was blunt, and she was often told she wasn't quite right. Still, she persisted, because acting was one of the few places where effort sometimes led to validation, and for a child seeking reassurance, that mattered more than applause. Becoming Laura Ingalls and America's Daughter, everything changed when Melissa auditioned for Little House on the Prairie. There was no forced charm or practiced confidence, only honesty and emotional instinct. Michael Landon saw something genuine and chose her to play Laura Ingalls, a role that would define her life. Almost overnight, Melissa became America's Daughter, a symbol of strength and purity. Viewers connected deeply with her, believing they knew her, even as her real self remained hidden behind the character. The cost of growing up on camera. While the world saw a joyful childhood unfolding on screen, Melissa lived a very different reality. Long work hours, emotional scenes, and constant public attention replaced playgrounds and privacy. Her life was scheduled, supervised, and shaped by expectations she was too young to fully understand. Fame didn't pause for her feelings, and she quickly learned that being liked depended on performing well, not being vulnerable. The applause was constant, but genuine comfort was rare. Losing the line between character and self. As years passed, Melissa struggled to separate herself from Laura Ingalls. The more beloved the character became, the more invisible Melissa felt. Fans praised Laura's courage and warmth, but few asked how Melissa was doing. Her identity became tangled with her role, leaving little room to discover who she was outside the script. Exhaustion became normal, silence became familiar, and her emotional needs were quietly pushed aside to keep the show moving. When fame began to feel like a cage, success brought recognition but took away freedom. Melissa was known everywhere, yet understood nowhere. Privacy disappeared, childhood slipped away, and expectations grew heavier with each passing season. She learned to silence her own struggles because showing weakness felt risky. The world believed she had everything, and that belief made it harder for her to admit she felt empty. Fame gave her purpose, but it also confined her, shaping her life without asking her consent. The end of the prairie and the start of uncertainty. When Little House on the Prairie ended, Melissa faced a silence she wasn't prepared for. Without scripts, schedules, or a familiar role, she felt unmoored. Hollywood struggled to see her as anything other than the girl she used to be, and auditions became exercises in quiet rejection. The applause faded quickly, and the question she had avoided for years finally surfaced. Who was she without Laura Ingalls? Searching for identity after the spotlight. The transition into adulthood was painful. Melissa was too recognizable to disappear and too typecast to move forward easily. Each rejection echoed childhood fears of not being enough. Without the structure of the show, loneliness returned with intensity. She wanted to be seen for who she truly was, not who the world remembered, and that desire made her vulnerable to emotional shortcuts. Love as a promise of belonging. When Melissa fell in love for the first time as a young adult, she believed she had finally been chosen. The relationship offered validation, excitement, and the hope of a future built on connection rather than performance. For someone who had spent her life searching for stability, love felt like a lifeline. She imagined family, permanence, and emotional safety, believing she was stepping into a new chapter at last. When hope turned into heartbreak, reality didn't follow her dreams. The relationship faltered under pressure, and when it ended, Melissa faced compounded grief. The loss she experienced wasn't just romantic, it was the loss of the future she had pictured so clearly. The pain was quiet but overwhelming, reopening old wounds tied to abandonment and loss. Once again, she found herself rebuilding from emotional ruins she never expected to revisit. Marriage, motherhood, and a new beginning. Determined to create the stability she never had, Melissa married actor Beau Brinkman and soon became a mother. Holding her son gave her a sense of belonging she had longed for her entire life. Motherhood grounded her, offering purpose beyond applause or validation. For a time, she believed she had finally built a safe home, one rooted in love and commitment. When stability slowly unraveled despite her hopes, the marriage faced challenges that love alone couldn't resolve. Differences grew, trust weakened, and emotional distance set in. Melissa tried to hold everything together, especially for her child, but the strain became too heavy. Walking away was heartbreaking, yet staying would have meant losing herself entirely. As a single mother, she chose resilience once again, determined to break the cycle for her son. A calmer love and a grown-up partnership. Later, Melissa entered a relationship built on patience rather than urgency. With Bruce Boxleitner, she experienced a steadier form of love, one rooted in mutual respect and shared responsibility. Together, they formed a blended family, navigating everyday life with a sense of normalcy she had never known. This chapter brought healing, allowing her to feel grounded rather than rushed. When even gentle love changes over time, the marriage evolved as all relationships do. Careers, distance, and shifting priorities created subtle gaps that slowly widened. There was no dramatic ending, only the quiet realization that their paths were diverging. The separation was handled with maturity, marking not another collapse, but a conscious decision to honor growth and change rather than cling to what no longer fit. Redefining success beyond fame. As Melissa grew older, her definition of success transformed. It was no longer about ratings or recognition, but about health, honesty, and inner peace. She faced physical challenges, personal setbacks, and moments of self-doubt, yet she continued to rebuild. Each chapter taught her more about herself than the last, guiding her toward a life shaped by choice rather than expectation. Learning to be kind to herself. Healing didn't come all at once. It arrived through self-reflection, acceptance, and the courage to let go of old narratives. Melissa learned that her worth was not tied to performance, approval, or perfection. She allowed herself to rest, to speak honestly, and to live without constantly proving her value. Strength, she realized, could be quiet. A woman who chose her own ending. Melissa Gilbert's story is not defined by fame, heartbreak, or survival alone. It is defined by persistence, self-discovery, and the refusal to give up on herself. She lived many lives within one lifetime, each one teaching her something about love, loss, and resilience. In choosing peace over applause, she found something far more lasting than fame. She found herself.